What is this? What is this black thing that I see on the screen?
It's probably the edge of that monitor. If you're seeing something I don't see, you're not on right now.
No? Let's see. I'm gonna close this bedroom door. Hey, remind me to always wear pants when I film this, okay?
Are you live? Because it's not.
Hi. I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. It was just mine. That wasn't.
Good morning, everyone, or good evening. It's okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
How's the lighting? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, lighting's okay.
I just don't like the monitor there. So just keep talking. I'll move this stuff.
Hi, guys. Happy Monday. This is our second live morning chat that we're doing. And we're still figuring things out, as you can see. Is it better? Lighting? Okay. So today I don't have my computer in front of me because last week I had like all the screens and like I found myself getting distracted, and Brandon's helping me with moderating the comments. So I can't see anything other than my camera, my mic, and my mirror right now. So let me know when I need to start answering questions. But yeah, I just wanted to start welcoming you guys. Thank you so much for taking time today to come join us live. And I'm just going to start getting ready.
So as you're getting ready,
Yes.
We had a couple of questions last week that did not get answered because of time.
Uh-huh.
So shall we start with those?
Yes. So Wilda, oh, by the way, if I ever mispronounce any of your names, please correct me. That's important to me. So Wilda, I think, she asked about supplements. If I took supplements for hormonal acne. I don't take supplements specifically geared for hormonal acne, but I do take 3 different types of supplements right now. And I have it in front of me because I need to take it today. But I think they're supposed to help with hormonal acne, at least 2 of them. But I don't take it for those reasons. So the first one is Vitex. And I take this because this is supposed to help with so there's like apparently 4 phases in your menstrual cycle. This is supposed to help with one of them. And apparently if this part of your phase, I think it's the luteal phase, if that phase is too short in length, I've heard that you can have a hard time like holding on to your pregnancy. And I'm wondering if maybe that has to contributed to my miscarriage. I don't know, but I am taking this. I've taken it before in Korea too. And I've heard a lot of people online and like stuff I've read saying that this helped with the hormonal acne. So give it a go. I'm going to do that.
Denise says hi.
Hi, Denise. Okay. So yeah, 2 in the morning. I usually take this as soon as I wake up. I forgot today. So there's that. And then this one, I mean, not for acne, but I'm taking prenatals. But I imagine this is good for me, right? And if it's good for me, then imagine it's good for my hormones, which is probably good for my hormonal acne. So this is, actually, I'm going to save this because I like to take this one with food. So we'll do that later. And then the third one, also taking to support my cycle, is evening primrose oil. This is very new. Like Vitex, I've taken on and off for years. This guy, it's been about 5 days. So yeah, you're supposed to take this only from the first day of menstruation until ovulation or the day after ovulation. I forget. I have it written down somewhere, but I'm supposed to be taking this right now. So I'm not a doctor, but the studies I've read on this, it's supposed to help. It's good for your skin, hair, and nail health as well. Okay, so that was the first question. And then the second question was about balancing our relationship as a married couple, right?
Yeah, let me read it.
Okay.
So June asks, how has it been balancing your relationship as a couple and being co-founders? it seems like it would be a tricky balance. So how do you guys arrive at the decision to work together?
Ooh, that's such a good question. Okay. So the first part of the question, the balance, right? Balance as co-founders. We're still figuring that one out. And that's actually something that whenever I have the opportunity to talk to about other couples that are in a similar situation as us, I always snag the chance to ask because I am curious too about how other people work together. I think honestly, one of the things that helped a ton was that meeting that Brandon held for us, where he broke down the roles and responsibilities. Like, what am I responsible for in this business? What is Brandon supposed to do? And that way, it's clear versus like I think one of the issues that I was having was sometimes like I'd ask Brandon to do something that's maybe outside of what he normally does, and it's not because it's something that he doesn't normally do. He might not see like the urgency or the importance behind it as much as I do, or I might ask him something last minute, and if it doesn't get done the way that I envisioned it, then obviously there is conflict between us. So just being clearer about that. And then I would say one of the things that we are going to get better at doing is having like our daily meeting at the end of every day. It's supposed to be like a quick meeting where we check in and we share, hey, here are my top 3 tasks for tomorrow. Here's where I need your support, and just kind of like constantly aligning with each other. I would say that's the biggest thing. And then in terms of how did we arrive at the decision to work together? The funny thing is when we were dreaming about potentially doing this coaching thing and moving to Maui, like back in 2016, 2017, at the very early stages, it was, okay, Brandon would, obviously support me and kind of help me build the systems and the structure. And then once I launch, I think the plan was always for you to kind of go and do your own thing, right? Like figure out what else he can do. Because I think in the beginning, we didn't really know where he would fit in terms of this business. But since getting started, oh my gosh, so humbling because there's no way that I could do this without Brandon. So I think right now he's an extremely important part of our system right now. But that's not to say that this is the only thing he's doing. So the cool thing is Brandon's also coaching, but he's been doing fitness coaching with like actually in-person people on Maui. So we're still figuring out or setting up systems, I suppose. Yeah. So it's really, this teamwork is so, so important because there's a lot of stuff that, I can do that maybe Brandon, it's not his strength, and vice versa. So it's been really good, like yin and yang tag team sort of thing. So yeah, thank you for that question.
Wendy and Heather, say hi.
Hi, Wendy and Heather.
Oh, I think it's Heather. It's Heatherette is her name, but Heather, I'm guessing, is her first
name. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm not going outside today. And so I love using skin tint when I don't have to put on SPF on my face. I avoid it at all costs. Also, there's this weird thing that's happening, you guys. I think it's because, we work from home, and obviously Brandon and I, we listen to different music, or we're listening to different podcasts or videos or whatever it may be. So we're both constantly wearing earphones or headphones. And I have my Airpods that go in the ear, and then I have like my Bose headphones that go over the ear. And we've both been experiencing it, but I think because I have it all the time, and sometimes I sweat, like especially if I'm doing housework, I have been getting painful breakouts like by my ear. Remember you just told me, babe, that you were breaking out around your ear?
Yeah.
I have this. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah,
it hurts so much.
I saw that and I immediately thought the Bose headphones.
Yeah. Because it's like, it's to the point where I lift it. I know this is so gross. I'd lift it and it's like wet because, I'm like vacuuming and washing dishes and putting stuff away. And then the other thing that's like kind of gross is like the constant AirPods in the ears. I've been like breaking out in my ears. So please tell me I'm not alone in this. I spoke to one other friend and she was telling me that she was experiencing breakouts inside of her ears because of AirPods, and like how much they hurt. It hurts so bad. Anyway,
Marilla,
I'm gonna cover that.
Marilla says, hi guys, first time with you in the live. She always sees it later. Hello from
Hi.
Mexico.
Ooh, cool.
Emma says, hi, good morning.
Hi, Emma.
Tiffany's in the chat. Says hello, Jen and Brandon.
Hi, Tiffany.
Julia says, hello from Poland and good night because it's the middle of the night, but I'll catch it in the morning.
Aw.
And
Hi, Julia.
Marilla says, what a powerful couple you are. Best wishes for the future. Oh, that's really nice.
Oh, thank you so much.
Tiffany says, I didn't know you could break out inside of your ears. Wow.
You can. Okay. And when you do, people ask me, like, right, if my septum piercing was painful. And the best way that I can describe it is if you've ever had a pimple, like, on or like inside like your nose, and if you even touch it or try to pop it and like it's instant like tears, it kind of feels like that in the ears too. I've had cartilage piercings in the past, like here and here, and similar feeling. But yes, you can break out inside your ears.
Angelina says, I had the same thing that happens with my AirPods. LOL.
Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. I always feel so gross. Like, I've had Brandon take pictures. I'm like, can you just take a picture? Because I want to know if it's visible. Like, are people talking to me and can they see it? Is it disgusting? So I've had him take pictures. I've had him try to take care of it, but you just got to let it heal. Those suckers don't want to come out. Oh, so gross. I'm so gross. Oh. Okay, so how was your weekend, you guys? What did you do? Anything fun? I just really love hearing about how other people spend their weekends. What I wanted to share, a couple things actually. I took quick notes. One, on Saturday evening, our friends Carly and Taylor that live down the street, they invited us over and we played 2 games. One was catchphrase, which I've never played before. But when I heard the concept of it, I take pride in the fact that I'm really good at taboo and gestures or anything where I'm like spitting out clues to help the other person say something. Okay, so catchphrase, if you're not familiar, it's like in a little electronic device. There's a phrase that pops up and then you have to get your teammate to say the word. But the part that adds so much anxiety is that it's beeping. It's constantly beeping. And as soon as your teammate guesses, you pass it on. And it's kind of like hot potato. And when you're in the last few seconds, it's just the beeping becomes faster. And I was sweating so much. It was giving me anxiety. And we lost. Like Brandon and I were on a team. We lost. Right?
Yeah, which is crazy because I know that if you weren't like anxious about it or
I need to wear earplugs or something.
Yeah, you would have done really well.
So that was kind of disappointing, but exciting. I don't know if I'm in a rush to play catchphrase. I'm down for some taboo though. And then the second game, it's just a classic and it's always a good time, is code names. You guys have to play code names if you haven't ever played that before. It's kind of hard to explain. I'm sure if you went to YouTube and you looked up like how to play code games, there's probably a comprehensive video that breaks down. But it really helps almost if the person that you're working with kind of understands how you think, because you're trying to get the other person to make connections between, I think there's like 25 words and you're trying to get the other person to guess what you're thinking. So that's a really, really fun one too. And that was really fun. We laughed a lot, right? We laughed a lot that night.
We did, yeah.
On Saturday. It was such a good time.
Tiffany said, haha, you would worry if other people would see the breakout in your ear. And then she said, I'm getting anxiety just from hearing your story about catchphrase. Doesn't sound like a game I'd enjoy.
Just play taboo, my friend.
It's not that bad.
I don't know. Like I was sweating behind my knees.
Well, that's part of the excitement.
Sweating I was just sweating in places I don't normally sweat. I don't like that though. Is it part of the excitement? I don't know, babe. And then I was worrying about sweating on Carly's rug. I'm like, I'm just gonna get up for a second because I don't want it to be wet after I got up. Oh man. Oh, the other thing I wanted to share, and this is kind of as a part 2, because last week one of you asked me about like how I kind of keep up and maintain relationships, like friendships, especially for those that, are far away. And one of the tools that I use, which is so magical. Okay, so I originally discovered this when I to schedule calls with clients, and it's called Calendly. So we'll link it below. Can you just write a note for me so I can do that? So it's this platform called Calendly, and you send whoever you're trying to schedule a call with this link, and then they'll click it, and then they'll see when your availability is. Obviously, you set the parameters, like if you want to just open it up on certain days of the week or certain time intervals, and then they will pick a date that works, and then that appointment automatically gets synced with your calendar. Well, I have it synced to my Google Calendar, so it'll just pop up. So originally it started out with just for clients, and then I moved over to, like when brands want to hop on a call with me to discuss like potential collaborations and stuff. Not just with brands, but I always find it's like, it takes so much longer when you have to keep going back and forth. Like, when are you available? I'm available here. What about you? And it just takes so much longer to schedule, right? So I would just send out this link, and people would be like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. It's in my calendar. It's in their calendar. And then I created a separate event where it's called Catch Up with Friends, like the ketchup you put on your food. And so when my friends would text me and say, hey, like, I miss you, like, let's catch up, I started sending them that link now. And so they can see when I'm available. And also you can click and change the time zone. So you can kind of see what it will look like. Like for me to schedule a call with my friend Sandra in Korea, I can see like, okay, if I'm available Friday evenings, click into Korea time zone, then I know it's like Saturday morning for her and all the times are there. So that has made the process so much easier to actually like get on a call with a friend. So I really want to recommend that to you. The only thing is, if you want the free plan for Calendly, then you can only create one event at a time. I upgraded and ended up paying for the pro, which is why I can have like a work calendar, a collaboration with brands calendar, and now like my catch up with friends. So recommend that.
Tiffany thought, I think the sweaty comments were hilarious. She laughed a lot. Jennifer Taylor says, hi, Jen, you're amazing.
Oh, hi, thank you.
Emma asks, I'm wondering how you and Brandon keep motivation in daily life.
Ooh, keep motivation. See, I feel like motivation is such a fleeting word. Like you can't ever count on it. Because it's funny, I was looking at a script we prepared for a video we want to do for our second channel, all about like routines and how routines really minimize anxiety and kind of help set you up. And one of the most frustrating things I think about motivation is that, I don't know about you, but for me, the night before, I'll like sit down and write down all the things I want to tackle the next day. And I'm like so on fire that sometimes I can't go to sleep. And I swear I'll wake up and I have like no desire to do anything. So I don't rely on motivation. What I try to do instead is to set up certain routines. And then even on that list, I try to prioritize like what are some non-negotiables, like these have to get done. And something new that I started to do was in my bullet journal, I have these new stickers now, these little circle stickers, and I'll put those next to 3. I try to stick to 3 at most, like 3 things that I absolutely need to get done. And I think for me, it's knowing that it's clear. Like, first of all, it's not just floating in my head. I have it written down. And for me to think like, okay, it's just these 3 things. Like if everything else needs to get done tomorrow, like that's okay. But I just need to focus on these 3. So I pretty much operate more systematically. How do you stay motivated? You want to just give me a little blurb?
How do I stay motivated?
Yeah. In our day-to-day, because like it's tough. Like we're home. So it's very easy. We don't have anyone telling us what time we have to be somewhere or, all those restrictions.
Good question.
How do you stay motivated, babe?
I agree with you. I mean, I think part of it is routine. Journaling in the morning helps me to address, because I mean, when you're thinking about doing important stuff, it's always scary because it's tied to so many things, like your future, the security of your family and your reputation and all those things. And so anything meaningful is going to be terrifying existentially. And so I guess instead of worrying about journaling helps me to kind of spit out those worries and then start to work through the right perspective on it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where it's like, don't focus on the potential failures, but look at, I guess, what you're trying to achieve and how meaningful and awesome that would be if you could take part in that.
Yeah, Brandon's not very fear or worry driven.
But it does affect me for sure.
Yeah, but it's not in like a crippling way, I would say. You're very good about like, okay, don't put this focus on me. Like, what can I do that's going to make a bigger impact? And you very quickly shift, I think, to the big picture perspective.
I try, but you know, sometimes I gotta like do some tips and tricks. So some of it is like if I feel like the task is too daunting for me to work on,
Mm-hmm.
I try to do like have tasks that are more like, you know, little bite-sized, fun-sized bits, like Scooby snacks, I think is what Tim Ferriss, I've heard, called it, where it's like, you know, you do these small, somewhat easy things that can kind of help build momentum, because you definitely get satisfaction, right, from getting something checked off your list or something completed and done. And so maybe this ties into the routine thing, but sometimes it's like, oh, if I'm stuck, maybe I'll just like take the shower that I've been meaning to, or do the dishes, or, you know, clean my area.
Like do something that's quick and easy, right? Yeah. Just like,
to get that momentum.
Yeah, you trick yourself like, okay, just go and wash dishes for 2 minutes. And a lot of times, like once you get started, it's like, oh, I'm already in the mode. So it's easier to like complete it versus, I think starting is the hardest thing. So it's a lot of mind games of lowering the barrier for yourself and then just giving yourself a shorter time limit. I would say it's a pretty good place to start.
Great question. I mean,
yeah,
we could probably go on.
And we're gonna we'll do a video on that
for sure. Let's see. Ooh, I don't know. So let's start with the greetings first. Lisa Marie Evans says, "Hi, Jenn.
Lisa Marie, you're here. Yeah. I know last week you said you were disappointed you missed the live. I'm so happy you got to make it.
She's barely here, but she's here. She says." Angela says, "Love your Billy shirt. Recently started listening to Couples Therapy and binged the entire series. It's amazing."
Nice. Okay, I need to catch up on that podcast. You know, that's Casey and Candace's podcast. Yeah. Ooh.
And then Caroline says, "Hi from gloomy Seattle."
Hi, Caroline.
From sunny Maui.
It is sunny today. Thank God. It's been gloomy here.
Ooh, and Heatherette's got an interesting question that, man, it might be tough to have an answer to.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this something that I need to think about and get back to?
Possibly. Okay. Possibly. I mean, any advice for if you tend to be a planner and your partner is not?
If you tend to be a planner.
Partner is not.
That is a tough one because you and I are planners, but to different degrees.
Yeah.
I'd say Brandon's way more flexible than I am.
Yeah. More go with the flow.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it my best shot, but I would say, so Heather, I'm wondering if you're the planner and your partner is not. It's the other way around. But okay. Because Brandon is more spontaneous and he's a little bit more flexible, even though he's a planner, I just have, I think we've had conversations about this where I need a little bit more of like parameters to work within. So for example, if something pops up that is going to kind of screw with the schedule I've set for myself, like I just need, I don't know, like how many ever days of a heads up. So like if it's something that's sprung in like an hour, it's like I got to scratch everything I need to do today and we're going to go to the beach or something, there's 100% chance that I'm going to say no. But if Brandon were to tell me, like, give me like a 24-hour notice in advance, then I can work with that and we can negotiate and have a conversation. So I would say making some expectations clearer, I guess, like I wonder what it is about your partner not being a planner that is bothersome to you or why it disrupts your routine. Yeah, I think if you could answer that question for me, maybe I could add a little bit more to that. And then I guess it's tough unless you guys are doing something together and it's an event that you both need to be in, then obviously you both have to align. But outside of that, I guess like, I wonder what the thought is you're having in terms of your partner not being a planner. Like, is it causing you frustration? Are you hoping to change the way that he is so that it can be more of like what you like, right? And then if you kind of think of it on the flip side of, well, what if he asked you to stop planning because he doesn't like it, right? So it's kind of like setting your own boundaries and doing what works for each of you, but also like having conversations around it, I think would be a starting point. I want to think more about the answer to this question because it's a good one. I just can't relate to it immediately right now because I think you and I we get upset when we don't put things in our calendars. It's like, why didn't you put it in the calendar? Right? Like we have one car, and if I have to go somewhere where I need the car and I don't put it in the calendar and let Brandon know, it kind of disrupts him too. So again, that's like a conversation. It's like, okay, next time, even if he's not attending this appointment with me, I need to let him know if I'm taking the car out so that he can plan around that too. But
yeah, it's tough because what's funny, I think what's interesting about us is I feel that sometimes our need for or want of a plan holds us back from kind of just being present and living life in the moment. And I think that could be a drawback of being overly a planner. And that's something that I think we're at some level, we're both planners, but we're not as adventurous, I think we could be.
Oh yeah, I'm very not spontaneous. Like, it's kind of become a joke with my friends too, where it's like, oh, like Carly asked me on Saturday to come over for game night. And she asked me, like, fully expecting me to say no because it wasn't a 24-hour notice. But I was like, you know what? It's Saturday. Oh, and sometimes like on Saturdays, I won't have things planned just in case for those kind of things where maybe we want to go out and eat and do something. Then I'll be a little bit more flexible on Saturday. But it's like, you know what, babe? Let's go crazy. Let's go and hang out. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we have more to cover on that. Maybe that'll be a video.
Take notes.
Yeah, planner.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Versus not planner.
I mean, I definitely have friends that aren't planners, but I kind of make it clear, like, hey, like if you ask me, like the day of, I'm probably going to say no. If you can schedule something with me in advance, that's like the best way for us to. Yeah, it's a lot of conversation, but I think that'd be a good one to dive into.
I think what's funny. So Heather to follow up says, yes, I'm the planner. Specifically, it takes a while to plan trips together, like booking flights, lodging, etc., even though we've already committed to specific dates. So I think that's interesting because I've experienced this frustration a lot.
Planning trips?
No, I think especially in the corporate world where I'm trying to make sure that, okay, well, we made a commitment. It's happening. Here are the tasks to do. Do you have it? Like, is this yours? And so, like, really, I mean, I won't go into details there, but I can feel the frustration or understand the frustration of it not happening. What's
funny is when it comes to planning trips, that's one of my least favorite things to do.
What?
I hate planning trips. Yeah.
Like booking all the stuff.
Booking stuff, like spending all that time researching, looking for deals, even though I want the best deal. Like, it's so. But the way that you and I travel is different too. Like, we don't go and like, make a list of all the touristy things. It's for us, like, our travel is so much around the people that we're going to go see. So like, I'm fine with going to, I don't know, Tacoma, Seattle, because we're going to go hang out with your sister. And for me, it's like, oh, I'm going to spend time with Janice. So it's not like, what do I need to do? And what do I need to see? Like every time, we're there. So I feel like I tend to lean more towards like those kind of trips where we're going to go hang out with people. You too, babe, right?
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So this is a great question. We'll keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch more.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, first of all, Shintia says hi.
Hi, Shintia. Again, please let me know if I'm mispronouncing your name. That's important to me.
Emma says, it's good to hear because the motivation is unstable. Look forward to your sharing in the future.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. I was gonna say, before I get into the next question, because I want to, you guys, I never, ever, ever thought I would ever become the type of person that can wear falsies. I just thought it was such a big commitment and it just didn't feel natural to me. But I will say, ever since we started playing around with our fancy camera, and whenever I show up on that camera, it's just like my makeup doesn't show up. You never see my lashes, nothing. So I started kind of experimenting, and I bought my first 2 sets of velour lashes, and these are like 100% handmade, and I think they're made of silk or mink. But this is like a very natural pair, and I've been just putting it on, even though I'm not like doing anything special, just to get used to, having them. And they're so comfortable. This is the Effortless collection. And so you don't have to trim it. You don't have to measure it. You don't have to put on eyeliner. So if you're a beginner to lashes, like this is a nice introduction. And this specific set is called Short and Sweet. And I wanted to show you what it looks like. And also because I'm such a noob, it's going to take me a while to get this on. So it'll be the perfect time to answer questions. You're going to see me struggle.
The struggle is real, everybody.
Very real.
Okay, let's see. Tiffany said, that's awesome advice, Jen. I do the same thing. My husband loves routine, and I need to tell him things ahead for him to be on board. But after having a baby, he's gotten better with spontaneity, which is cool.
Cool. So maybe we just need to have a baby.
That is the plan. Angelina said, I've been loving your Big Five personality series on your other channel. Seems like you and Brandon are very different on most dimensions. How do you navigate your differences in your marriage?
That's such a good question. I have a page. Babe, would you mind grabbing my old bullet journal? I've never showed this on camera, but I want to show you. But I drew out a graph of our differences. It's on that side, by the way.
I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, okay. So I have a chart, and there are some where we're polar opposites. It's like a periwinkle color, babe. It's in the box, my little bookshelf, and it's the Scribbles That Matter one. I don't know if you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Okay. Oh my gosh, I already forgot about these lashes. Hold on.
Is this periwinkle?
No, periwinkle's like a light purple / blue.
I love how you said that as if I was supposed to know.
Babe, I don't know. Sometimes you know weird. There you go. Yeah. Sometimes I think you know weird stuff. Okay. Thank you. Oh yeah, I gotta work quickly. So apparently the trick is not to put this in the corner, but you gotta do it on the outer 3/4 of your eye. But so strong. Okay. So there are certain areas where Brandon and I are very similar, and it helps us a ton. So let me show you this page of my completed bullet journal, page 32. Ooh, there's information here about other people that I want to block out. Can you give me that certificate? Yes, thank you. Okay. Can you show me if you can see what I'm doing, babe, on your computer? Is this okay?
There's a little delay. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. All right. So I kind of broke down our differences, right? So if you can see, I think it's extroversion or conscientiousness and extroversion were pretty spot on with each other, right? Mm-hmm. So when we go out to like social gatherings or hanging out with friends, depending on who we're with, and if it's like a group that I'm comfortable with and we're really jiving, like you and I can like really thrive in that environment. So that plays to our strengths. And then even with conscientiousness, I think we are very much on the same page in terms of like whether it's planning or like following through with people. Like those are things that are things we value, and it comes somewhat naturally to us. Now, the thing about the others, so neuroticism, obviously we are so different. I've learned to appreciate, and there's a part of me that's always like kind of envious of Brandon too, because I feel like when I find myself in a situation, oftentimes like I'll sit here and while I'm worrying or thinking about certain things, like I look over at you and I think about how differently you would react to the situation. And I'm like so jealous that you don't go down this rabbit hole. And at the same time, I think because we have this understanding that, you know, it's not because I'm crazy. It's just that I have this sensitivity to negative emotions. And because of that ground, the foundation, oh my gosh, we have that understanding. He's so great when I am like, hey, listen, like I'm really struggling with this. Like I need you to help me see from above the forest because I'm like too deep in the woods. And it's really good. It opens up like a conversation that it would be really hard for me to have by myself sometimes. So I think just me even giving my perspective too of like, here are things that I worry about that would never cross Brandon's mind. And I think more than anything, it becomes really interesting when we kind of talk about our differences. And then I guess for the openness to experience one, oh my gosh, if you received my newsletter, I kind of admitted in there that that video was so hard for me to film. I should put on the other lash, right?
No, it looks great with just the one.
You guys, I was so embarrassed because, you know, that was the one trait that kept saying like, hey, you should actually be in a more traditional job. Like you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. And anytime I feel like I'm not cut out to be doing this, I'm reminded that I'm not wired to be that way. And, you know, I think in that regard, like I made it so much about me, even though for me, like my strength is, oh my gosh, I can talk to people all day and do the coaching and connect and talk about real things where maybe Brandon would have a shorter, I don't know, not patience, but tolerance for doing that, right? But that's like where I thrive. And I think because we have understood like what our strengths are and where we need each other to kind of help cover and lift and support, that has, in fact, I mean, where am I going with this? If he and I were so similar in every single realm, I just don't know how we would push each other to grow and to become more of who we are supposed to be. Like we are, yes, it's fun when we're on the same page, we're aligning and we're high-fiving, but I think it really, really strengthens our relationship and also creates room for like God to come in and show us like where we fall short. And it's like, hey, like here's someone who loves you and who's going to help you. So it's been very humbling. And I do wonder how much more difficult it would be if you and I didn't have the big five understanding of each other. I think you would probably just get so frustrated at all my negative thoughts.
Yeah.
And I would just feel never understood by you. Like, why can't you just understand that sometimes I have these thoughts and you don't have to come in and try to fix it for me all the time. But it's funny. A lot of times you'll be like, babe, your neuroticism's kicking in right now. And it's like, oh, okay. And I appreciate like when he pulls me out for a second. Yeah. I hope that answered your question.
Awesome.
Okay, but how come no one's commenting on how great my one lash looks? Huh?
Let's see. Yeah, I guess nobody likes a lash.
Babe, do you like it though? Oh, Brandon tells me all the time how much he likes it. And then in the evenings, when I take off my makeup and I peel them off, I go, hey, babe.
Oh,
you still love me? Because like I feel so good when I have the lashes. This man the other day, he was on his computer watching old Dating My Husband episodes. And it was like when my hair was short and I had the lashes and I was like, God, I missed that. You know, I missed that. And he was like, yeah, you look so good. And I was like, what about now?
Look even better now.
All right, here's attempt 2.
Okay. Let's see. Basically,
sweating.
Shintia says you were spot on with the pronunciation, which is great.
Oh, yay.
Denise was wondering the same thing. Sarah said, wow, I'm not sure in reference to what. And then Tiffany asked, have you always been that way, or is it your current lifestyle / past experience? I'm trying to figure out.
In terms of neuroticism, or?
It may have been the planner thing.
Oh, yeah. Can you tell us?
Yeah, sorry, Tiffany, I didn't pay attention to when you asked that. So
yeah, you got distracted by my lashes.
I did. There was a nice little breeze every time she blinked.
that I'm a total beginner and didn't totally mess it up. How does it look, babe? Gosh, I feel like a woman.
Like a woman.
Like a real woman.
Oh. Oh, it's about being spontaneous, is what Tiffany was saying. Is that your comment? Have you always been that way?
That's interesting, Tiffany. I think when I was younger, for sure, I know this. My parents were really strict with me. And I had friends around me where their parents, like, they didn't really have a curfew and they could kind of do more of what they wanted. And I remember I just wanted that so badly. And, you know, when we got to college and I was able to kind of be more free, I think I kind of went along with things that, like, I was definitely way more spontaneous, maybe not by choice, but I think, again, like my high agreeableness, right? Like if I was in a group and everyone wanted to go clubbing, which I never really loved going clubbing, but I did a ton of that growing up. It was more like, I guess because I'm extroverted, my close friends want to go and I want to be a part of that. So I would go along with things and be more spontaneous because of the company that I was seeking. So I don't know that I was always naturally spontaneous. Yeah, I think I practiced that more, but I don't know that that's in my nature.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can talk about one of the things we're planning on doing weekly.
Planning to be spontaneous.
Yeah. Scheduled spontaneity.
Scheduled spontaneity. Oh, I forgot that was a thing from 30 Days of Crushing Anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Brandon still doesn't believe this is a thing, but we were talking about, you know, God forbid we have to leave Maui soon. And, you know, once we leave, are we just going to live in regret that we didn't explore this beautiful island as much as we could have, right? So we decided, like, once a week, we're trying to aim for Tuesdays right now. Like once a week, Tuesday is going to be our day where we go out and we do something, whether it's going for a hike or some sort of activity on this island. And yeah, see, I can do that. Like, I don't have to know exactly what activity we're doing, but for me, it's like it's scheduled in that there is a day designated to it. And then within that, I am flexible. But that's how spontaneity works for me. I honestly think Tiffany would appreciate that. That's all I'm saying. So you laugh at me all you want. Right, Tiffany? Come on, affirm me.
So Stephanie says hello, joining now.
Hi, Stephanie.
And then Lily Joy, what was that again?
Susanna,
yes. Just my left, turn on the TV and saw this. You guys are like salt and vinegar chips. Seems different, but with your powers combined, make the perfect chip. Wow.
Oh my gosh, that is the best compliment.
That is really great. I love that. I love that a lot. And then everybody's saying, well, she says that your eyelashes look amazing.
Thank you. I was waiting for
Stephanie says your lashes look amazing. I just thought you put a really heavy coat of mascara on one eye. LOL.
Oh my gosh. You know, even if I did, it would never look like this. So thank you so much. I didn't use enough glue.
Tiffany says the lashes look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
Jennifer says lashes look great. Yeah. And then Tiffany says, I do appreciate it. Ha 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 ha. Yeah.
Schedule spontaneity. Yeah. I'm telling you. Okay. Am I done? Am I done with my face?
I don't know.
Babe, look, I failed.
Oh no.
It's hanging off. So I'm going to do that again.
Stephanie says, I struggle for signs of approval. I need signs of approval from someone I perceive to have power or someone I perceive to be more superior than me. Do you ever struggle with this, or did you ever struggle with this?
For sure. Yeah. I wanted to be like the perfect child growing up. So it definitely for me started out from childhood. But this is such a good question because I know that this is something that everyone to some level deals with or struggles with, right?
Yeah. And some of it's good.
Yeah, it is because, I mean, as long as it's not controlling you in every sense of the word, but I'd say the person that you want that approval from, it could actually be someone that wants the best for you, like a mentor, right? And they kind of could be a good pulse check in terms of like, how are you doing? And is this person not afraid to, tell you the truth or tell you ways in which you can improve? And it's purely because they want the best for you. So I guess I would be curious as to who it is you're seeking approval from. And yeah, if you're comfortable sharing that. But if it's a cloudy sort of thing where it's, like for me, I just want the approval of everyone that watches my videos. Like that's totally unrealistic. And I think if I operate out of that, which I have in the beginning, of course, like starting out on YouTube, I wanted to make everyone happy. I didn't want to offend or piss off or bore anyone that came to like invest time in watching my content. But then what's that quote? It's like when you start trying to impress everyone, you impress no one. Or when you start creating for the masses, like you end up creating for no one, right? So I wonder who it is that you're seeking that approval from. I wish we could have a conversation. Like
in person.
Yeah, like because that's the thing, like I struggle with, like I don't want to give you advice because I don't know everything about your situation, right? So I would never want to impose or project my experience or what I think I know. So
she says she's a graduate student and struggles with approval from a professor. I feel like I'm failing to impress my professor invokes fear in me.
So yeah, why do you want to impress your professor? I mean, is it for the sake of just getting a grade, or is this person important in giving you some sort of recommendation? So I would ask yourself, like, why do I need this person's approval? And then when you have the answer to that, like see how that feels. Like if it feels like you could use it as motivation, as long as it's like you're not putting your whole worth into what this one person says about you. But like you said too, babe, like if it's a healthy amount of a push and support, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I think it makes sense if you're a graduate student and your professors. I mean, the grades tie in with the ultimate goal of what you want to do with your degree,
right,
and where you want to go in life. So it like ties into all the different hierarchies of your own values, and so it makes sense that
it doesn't seem unhealthy.
It would seem natural that the fear would come up. It's just a matter of what is that emotion causing you to do, right? I mean, is it, if it's, you can use it for motivation to further your goals, right, then that's cool. But if it's like paralyzing you,
right, or stopping you from like what you want or should be doing, or could be doing,
that's where probably it's tough. So yeah, Tiffany says that she definitely struggles with that. It's the same thing. Let's see. Lisa Marie, so amazing to hear you share about your own openness to experiences. I feel like I've watched you embrace new experiences over the years and blossom into a source of encouragement to so many people.
Thank you. Oh, that's so nice.
By the way, she was watching a couple of older blogs when you started and thought, oh my God, you have the best wing liner. I think I understand what that is.
You do, right?
Yeah. All right.
What else, love?
Yeah, so JR Salad. Hey, Jen, finally able to get you on live stream. I think this person asked something similar that we'd answered before. How do you stay consistent? How do you go about being consistent and motivated? I tend to get stuck often and feel like I take a step forward and 2 steps back.
That's normal. I think when you think like, oh, I'm not doing more of what I should, and every time I take a step back, I take 2 steps back. Oh my gosh, when I take 1 step forward, I take 2 steps back. I think once you accept and embrace that that's part of the process, you kind of like relieve some of that pressure off. What's funny is we just talked about this the other day, where I would have like my ideal day or a schedule I wanted to follow. And whenever I didn't do every little thing on that list, I made it mean all these things about me. Like I'm unreliable, I'm lazy, I can go on and on. But I think now it's when I don't do things exactly the way that I want in my ideal world. I've been learning to be a little bit more compassionate with myself in that regard, and to know that like every day is a new start, right? And I know that's probably really cliche, but yeah, I think just being aware of it. One of the things that really helped me a lot actually is my 5-minute journal, because at the end of every evening, I have to write down, one of the questions is, um, I think if I could go back, what would I do differently? And it makes me scan through my day. And when I write it down, it's like top of mind before I go to bed. And then it's still there in the morning when I wake up. And it's almost like on certain days when I find myself writing the same things over and over, at that point, it's like, okay, this is enough. I just need to get this done so that it's checked off and complete. And then other times it makes me question like, well, why aren't I taking care of this? Why is it not a priority for me? And then it kind of helps me question it in a healthy way. And then maybe I come to realize like, this isn't that important. And I made it this huge, big thing in my head. So I think being aware of it is huge, and having some sort of system, whether it's a Google Calendar, a paper planner, a journal, like some sort of practice where you are in the routine of, taking inventory of the things that you're responsible for, and then learning to have a dialogue with yourself in terms of like, what's holding you back. And I think a lot of times when we don't do that and we're just like, oh, every time I make progress, there I go, I screwed up again. That just kind of has us like stuck in a loop that's very unproductive. And a lot of times like that isn't going to actually help us go and get things done and feel good about ourselves. So yeah, I wonder if you have some sort of practice where you can kind of check in with yourself, and if you have a system that you can rely on.
I think this is a good segue to talk about above and beyond is what we're.
Yes. Are we ready for that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they sign up for the newsletter, we're going to send a couple emails this week.
Okay. So we are working on, so we have a lot of exciting things coming, but I guess we already piloted the group coaching that we're calling it group coaching, but really, you guys, it's just a small group of us. I'm part of every single group, and there's a max number of people in each group. So the max is 4, including me. And it's just a time for us to get together once every other week. So not every week. And we come prepared with like, hey, here's what I'm struggling with. And we all like combine our brains together and we start just brainstorming ideas. And this is a space where you get to kind of listen to things and hear like suggestions or maybe experiences of other people. So 1, you don't feel alone. And 2, like you can actually come up with or like be exposed to certain things that you wouldn't have come up with like on your own. And we're going to send out more details. Like we're working on the emails right now. They'll come out in the next couple days. So if this sounds something like, helpful or interesting to you, please sign up. We'll have a link below. Can you write me a little note to link that?
Yeah.
And we won't spam you, promise. Hate spam. Except I like real spam, like the one you can eat.
Yeah, but that's really cool because it's like it's exactly what we're working on.
And that's the thing too, this isn't for me. This is, I think, just for people in general. It's the accountability, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm part of 2 groups right now. One is just strictly centered around YouTube and content creation and the struggles and achievements that we want to share. Because, something like this can feel pretty lonely because a lot of times I'm like talking into a camera and not actually dialoguing with a person. So to find community in that was really important. It didn't exist for me, so I created it. And then this other thing is, we might not all have the same jobs, but here are a lot of the topics center around like procrastination, like not having motivation. And, even if we have, a husband or a boyfriend, a partner, friends in our real lives, it's a different thing to be in like an actual accountability group where if I tell these people in the group, like, hey, you guys, by our next meeting, I'm trying to like, I don't know, wake up at a certain time every single day. I have been really awful about that. And not having a set time where I like wake up and I just get into my routine right away. So if I tell my group that I'm going to be working on this, then I know that the next time I show up that I'm actually checking in with them. There are people that are going to ask me about it. And it's really important to me that I'm a woman of my word. And that apparently, like, accountability increases like your chances of actually hitting your goals or your target by like 85 to 90%, some crazy percentage like that, right? And it has been so effective for me. And yeah, like one of the groups I'm in, like two of my ladies, they're both in the corporate world. Like I don't really know too much about that world. But even so, we can still gather and talk about all these other things. Because a lot of times you don't have to be in the same exact shoes as someone else. But so many of our situations, our thoughts, our fears, they all parallel one another, right? So that's, anyway, if you want more information, sign up for our emails and we'll give you more details there. Brandon's almost done with our website that we're so excited about. I ordered samples of stickers of our logo. I don't know if I've showed you guys our new logo yet officially.
Is it not here yet, the stickers?
It was supposed to be here on Friday.
Oh, wow.
But let me see. I haven't gotten a notice that they're here. Let me show you guys. So I ordered a sample because I really want to test how durable these stickers are, because one, I need it to go on my Hydro Flask. I need it to be waterproof. I know that if I scrub it, the letters aren't going to come off. I hate cheap stickers. I'm very serious about my stickers. Brennan's giving me those judgy eyes.
I'm not giving you the judgy eyes.
Here we go. There's our little logo. I'll make sure that it's focusing. Well, the colors are a little off, yeah?
Yeah, it's hard to tell because it's a...
Yeah, okay. Oh my gosh, it kind of matches the color of our Big Five.
Yeah, kind of.
Graph.
Yeah. So anyway, Denise said, just listening to the advice you gave Stephanie, can definitely see why you decided to take the coaching path. You're a natural.
Oh, that's really nice.
Stephanie said, yes, Denise, Jen's the best coach ever. And Stephanie said, thank you so much. I agree, and I need to understand why I need approval.
Gosh, I really want to talk to you, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Like in front of me. This is me holding your hands. Why do I always do this, babe? Why do I always want to hold people's hands like this?
I don't know. I think it helps to make people feel, safe,
just feel
and
connected.
Accepted and connected. Yeah.
Like I want to feel your hand. That's weird.
That is very strange.
Oh man.
Anyway, we only got a few minutes here.
Okay.
So if you want to maybe wrap up, or
okay.
I think we've answered all the questions that were on here.
Are you guys enjoying this live? If you could just let me know. Like for me, like that feedback is important, because not just for approval, but I want that approval in the sense where, I want feedback. I want to know if there's anything more that we can be doing to make this a more valuable time for you. Do you kind of like the casual nature? I'm honestly kind of sweating right now because I'm like answering questions on the fly. I always want to be able to help you the best that I can. And, I'm a planner, right? So I like to like really think of questions and like have the answers marinate and come to you with like the best one that I can. So this is an exercise of me kind of stepping out of my comfort zone in that. And so, yeah, I guess I would just, I wonder how it is on the receiving end of just having these kind of conversations. Would you like to ask me questions that maybe I can think about throughout the week? And then the next time I show up on morning chats, I could have a more maybe concise or better thought out answer. Like all those, that feedback would be so helpful for me, so I can be better for you. And how long has it been, babe?
It's we're closing in on an hour.
Wow. Okay. So even that, like, how do you guys think of the timeline? Is it too long? Should it be shorter? That's really important. I was talking to someone the other day and they're like, wow, your video's an hour. Like I can't watch a YouTube video that's more than 5 minutes. And I'm like, I get that. But I feel like this is a different kind of space, I don't want it to feel so rushed, but I also don't want it to feel like super dragged on. So would love your feedback. And also, even if you haven't contributed during the live, you can still leave comments like you would on a regular YouTube video. So I just want to let you guys know in case you think of something later and you want to add it in. So
yeah, questions, topics.
Yeah.
How am I doing?
Yes. Oh, that was the other question I had. I keep telling Brandon, I'm like, man, you should hop on here with me and maybe you can share some things as my partner and CEO, or not even business related, but yeah. I think Brandon is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to especially fitness, or maybe if you guys are curious about some of his answers regarding our marriage or our relationship, or, you know, what it's like to be married to someone that's highly neurotic. Yeah, if that's something that might be interesting, just give us all the ideas. We are so open for them. And yeah, we want it to be the best and valuable time for you. Most valuable. Cool.
Yeah, very cool. It's been fantastic, I think.
Thank you guys so much for your time, your contributions. Even if you haven't commented yet, I challenge you next week. Next week?
Yeah.
Okay. Next week's not Memorial Day weekend, right?
Oh, it is.
Oh, okay. I don't know about next week, you guys, because I think we're gonna have we have an event to attend. So the best thing, I think, if you want to be notified for these calls, is to sign up for my gratitude newsletters. They go out every Fridays, and in it, I share 5 things that I enjoyed, appreciated, or discovered that week. And they're like anything from like product recommendations to maybe a podcast I just heard, or whatever. Really, it's like there's no limits to these topics. And in there, I'll provide a link so that you can set up a reminder to show up for this call if you'd like. So yeah. Can you also leave me a note to link that?
Yes.
My gratitude newsletter.
Okay, and then
cool.
So I guess to finish off, this would be appropriate thing to finish off with is Denise says, yes, look forward to Monday evenings. I gave the moderator an A+.
Oh, you! Brandon's clapping right now.
Marilla says, ha ha ha, moderator is the best. Tell Jen to give him a raise. Yes, Jen, give me a raise.
Listen, you give me a raise first, okay? These lashes, all right? They're not going to pay for themselves.
I bought those lashes.
I bought those lashes.
Oh, you did. Fine, you did. Hannah said, oh, literally just got here. Hopefully I'll catch you at the BNU next time.
Yes.
So, sorry,
probably
Hannah.
2 weeks,
hello.
yeah.
Tiffany says, Brandon is the best. No, you are.
He's living. Brandon's love language is words of affirmation. So whenever you guys give it to him, he's just beaming. He's a beamer.
And I think it's helpful that I can type all these messages, right?
Yeah.
And then
it's really helpful. Yeah, it's been nice, like not getting distracted. I get distracted, like trying to engage, read the comments, share the things that I want to talk about, answer the questions.
Okay. Anyway, last 2 questions, which we'll get to next time as sort of a cliffhanger.
Okay.
Is Brandon washing his sunscreen off his face every day? And
great question.
And Tiffany says, is there anything Brandon's not good at? So
feelings.
No,
accepting
don't answer
feelings.
it.
Oh yeah, cliffhanger.
It's a cliffhanger for next time. But anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great Monday and rest of your Monday for most of you. And yeah, have a great week. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Dun, dun, dun.